This video is going to cover how to write a procedure using the template that comes out of QT9 and getting it ready to enter back into QT9 for release. The template that we're using here is AGT002. There's another video on how to get the template from QT9. First thing you do once you've got your template is you save it with a file name, and the file name needs to include the document number that you're going to use. In this case, I'm using AGP 0. Oh, I've got the wrong number. 089. So the document number here is AGP 089. The title is New Vehicle Wash. So the document file should be AGP 089. I will go make a change to this later. New Vehicle Wash. If you got the template but you didn't have a document number to start with, and you hadn't gone through and pulled a document number, then just put TBD at the beginning and you can change the file name later. But before you put it back into QT9, this is the structure that it should have. AGP 0, whatever your document number is, followed by the description that's in the title here. So once you've got the template, you go double click in the title section and you can set in the title of the document. This describes what the procedure is talking about, what the procedure's covering. Put the document number over here. You can put TBD if you don't have it yet. Put your name under author. Put in the ECN number that you've reserved. If you don't have an ECN number yet, that's fine. You can follow the ECN number video to get the ECN number and then update this later. Put in the ECN date. This is really just the date that you started writing this, or the date that you wanted to submit it. It's just a time record to understand when this was created. And then the revision. New documents always have a revision of A. Once you put this information into this header, press the page down button on your keyboard. It'll take you to the next page and it'll show you the header that goes on all of the pages other than page 1. Make sure you put the title and the document number in here as well. The page number is already set up to auto number. Once you've got the title bars all set up, double click down here in the text again. Then put in the information in the purpose section. Keep in mind the purpose of a procedure is describing why you're doing the process. A procedure document is specifically designed, the definition of a procedure is to document a process. So the purpose here is not the purpose of this document. The title tells you the purpose of this document. The purpose here tells you why are we doing this process. In this particular case, we're talking about new vehicle washing, right? So this is a new vehicle shows up at the car lot and we're going to wash it. So the purpose of the reason that we do a new vehicle wash is to prevent damage to the clear coat from long-term abrasion, decomposing material, soil decomposition, etc., and to make the vehicle attractive to our customers. So it's the purpose of the process, not the purpose of the document. The scope describes what this document affects. So in this case, this process is for new cars, after delivery and new cars on the lot. This process is not for rental cars or cars in for service. So this is describing when you do use this procedure and when you don't use this procedure. This is handy for quality because if they ever want to see if you follow the procedures you're supposed to, they can tell right off the bat looking at the scope if this procedure was applicable to the product that you're looking at. Section 3 is definitions. Definitions is not a collection of every word in the document. It is also not a pointer to the dictionary or some corporate dictionary that covers every single word that you ever use. It's to identify things that you're going to use on a regular basis that are specific to this document. So in this document, when we say the lot, we mean our new vehicle lot located at 123 Derringer Road. when we talk about the rental lot, we're talking about the adjunct lot at 99 Dead Animal Way. We're not talking about somebody else's rental lot or an abandoned lot. This is clarifying what we mean. When we talk about buffing, we mean using buffing fill element compound on a horsehair pad. And when we talk about polishing, we mean use a clean buff pad made of sheep's wool and use McGuire's wax. So this is just spelling out when this document says do this or reference this, this is what it means. Sign and date, for example, means sign your name, first and last, no initials, and note today's date as month, day, and year. Section 4 is requirements. The reason we have processes and procedures is to have consistency in something. So a requirement does not, let's say a requirement for a new car wash does not say that the new car wash is just to hose it down and clean it off. That's any one car could do that. The process needs to generate a new vehicle wash, creating one clean car in under 20 minutes, including the floor mats, etc. This process should create 3 cars an hour for an entire shift. The requirement for this process means no debris, scratches, etc. when viewed in sunlight with an unaided eye from no closer than 18 inches. This is how quality is going to know how to verify that this is correct. They're not taking the magnifying glass, and they're not looking at it from the other side of the car lot. Any defects that cannot be addressed by cleaning shall be brought to the attention of the lot manager immediately. This clarifies if you're looking at something, oh, I see a dent, what should I do? Clarify that in your requirements. And in this one, we're going to say do not use pressure wash functions because it'll rip the paint right off of the new cars. And do not use metal tools or abrasives to remove debris. So requirements is especially handy for things that you're going to repeat later on in the document. Lawyers use this all the time to identify plaintiff is John blah 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 living at 123 Animal Way, etc. That way you don't have to, when you talk about plaintiff in the rest of the document, you don't have to keep repeating his name and his address. You're very clear about who you're talking about. The next section is flowchart. Oh, let me take a quick break and talk about the setup in here. When you bring in the template, it has this numbering sequence already built into it. All you need to do is type. If you go to the end of the word purpose and you hit enter, it'll automatically create section 2. But what you didn't want was section 2, you wanted 2.1, so you press tab, it automatically creates the numbering for you. You don't need to do anything other than that. Please don't change the numbering or the format that's built into this. We try to make everything simple and consistent. Please use the tools that are already built into this template. So sections 1 is the purpose, 2 is the scope, 3 is the definition, 4 is the requirements, 5 is a flow chart that shows the basic process. If you've got a procedure or a process that's got all kinds of branches and stuff, you can go create a graphic that shows what the flow chart needs to be. And sometimes you might have flow charts that are 2 or 3 flow charts that cascade into each other. That's okay. They can be complicated. Most of them are like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just follow these steps. This is what they are. But the purpose of the flow chart is to give a visual reference for coaching and training that this is what the process is. And this is not overly complicated. 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3 refer directly to the sections 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3. So when you're making this flow chart, just put in the titles of your sections and your subsections. So if you've got cascading sections where you're looping and doing things like that, so you have section 6.4 gets halfway through and it says go back to section 6.2 and repeat 3 times, you can put that loop into your flow chart. And then all your information is mapped right down to here, right down in the process. Then the process itself details out, as detailed as you need to be, what all needs to get done to make the process work. Rough wash, in this case, details out what you're going to do. Open the doors, make sure the routing log is there. If the routing log isn't there, stop and go get the manager. Don't proceed until the manager has corrected this problem. So it's just a step by step of what needs to get done. This example is extremely simple. When you're creating a procedure, you can get very in-depth. You can add some background and some history into these steps, explaining why we do some of these things if you feel you need to. Don't be afraid to take advantage of that. This is not a work instruction. This is a procedure. Inside of this procedure, you can include a work instruction. This doesn't have any good examples of it, but here where it says use the hot rinse water gun, you can say per work instruction AGW 999. And that work instruction will tell you in detail, get this water gun, set the temperature for this, verify the pressure is this, spray this way. So that's where you get, that's the linkage between procedures and work instructions. If you have a work instruction that's related to a procedure, you reference it from the procedure. Okay, so your steps in here map directly to your flowchart. And then once you've gotten to the end of detailing out what your procedure needs to be, your history is going to include this revision, revision A, the one we're working on. In this case, it's an initial release, and the ECN is 10766. And that's all that is needed to create the procedure. Entering the procedure into QT9 and getting it ready for release is a different step and a different video.